What if the person that you need to trust the most in your whole entire life was someone you knew? So let's talk about rebuilding the most important relationship in your life. That is one with yourself. So let's get right into it. Hello, I am Coach Dama. I am your self-mastery life coach, and I've helped many women rebuild the trust that they have lost in themselves over the years in many of my programs. While everyone's path is different, I have come to see so many common factors which seem to be almost universal. Today I'm going to share with you that framework that I have used for myself and for many of my clients that helps them to rebuild this very trust that we do. First, let's talk about the erosion of self-trust. Let's understand what that looks like. Let's say, when you start doing things that are not really for your benefit, when you start ignoring your intuition. I remember one time saying to myself, and I think I said this out loud, one day my intuition is going to hit me behind my head because I continue to ignore that. But I was only able to do that because I was already doing this inner work. Have you ever just continuously ignore your intuition? What about putting everyone else before you? And I know this is a big one, especially for moms, right? Where you just keep on having to pour and pour and pour. Even when the children are out of their nappies, right? You still continue to pour, and you extend this to other people. And why do we do that? We do that because it has become so much easier, so much quicker to actually do these things ourselves. So somewhere along the line, it's required, maybe at first, maybe when the kids are small, but then it becomes default for you to just continue to do and do and do, and you forget yourself. Another way in which we erode trust is when we stay in situations or environments where we need to be abandoning ourselves, where we can see that things aren't really going as well as they're supposed to, or maybe things have changed, but we stay. And sometimes we stay because we are afraid of facing that. Maybe it's unclear as to what exactly has changed, or why something does not serve us, or the fact that it no longer serves us, and we stay because it's so much easier than to go within and do the work that needs to be done with that. I know I mentioned quite a few that are the big guns, and maybe right now you feel like hopping off this video, but don't, right? Because the nice thing about this whole thing is that there are ways in which you can recover that. You have eroded that trust in yourself. That's fine. We can work on building that, and stick around because I'm going to share with you just how to do that towards the end of this video. So we've spoken about how we have eroded that trust, right? So now let's talk about how to rebuild this trust. The first thing that I want to talk about is what I call the decision alignment method. Remember I spoke about how I thought that intuition of mine was going to hit me in the back of my head? Let's talk about exactly that. How do we then start to rebuild this trust that we have lost in us? I am a fan of small and quick wins. We start with small actions that are going to lead us to rebuild this trust, because I want to remind you that you didn't lose this trust in one event. So it may take a few events that are going to have to build upon each other in order for you to get back to this trust building process, and where you can now trust yourself more and more. So we're going to look at it from small steps, bit by bit, as we build upon that. How are we going to do that? One, start with small decisions. Things like, do I go here or there? Trust yourself to know what's best for you. You have all the information. If you need to be processing the pros and the cons of whatever decision at first, you may need to start doing that. Go for it. But start with small decisions so that you can start to trust yourself to make those decisions. It doesn't matter right now whether the decision works out or it doesn't work out. What we're trying to do here is to rebuild the trust. So we're going to make those small decisions so that we can see what comes next. Once you've done that, we're going to check in with your body's response. Many people at this point do not even know or allow themselves to go in and check in with themselves. So what can help you here is things like body scans, right? check in with your body. Check to see where you are when you're making these decisions, determine what that looks like, and then get familiar with what your body is telling you. As I said, you need to have your list of pros and cons, make a decision, and then do it. You've made a decision, now go and act upon. What you want to do here is to notice your patterns of your choice. But at first, we're not going to be hard on ourselves. So just notice, document that. If you're journaling, great. If you're not journaling, it's probably time to stop. So just do that. Now you've done that, you practice this over and over. Now I want us to move on to the second tool that I like using in this regard. The second tool, I like to call it the promise practice. So what you're going to do here is to make promises to yourself, and then, you've guessed it, stick to them, right? If you promise yourself you're going to drink 2 liters of water to increase your water intake, you're moving from 0 to 2 liters. You're going to put things in place that are going to help you to drink that 2 liters while sticking with the 2 liter water example. Maybe it's too much for you to think of right now, and you are like, okay, I know that I'm never going to finish the 2 liters, so might as well not do it. Remember, we are building, or rather rebuilding, the trust in yourself. So we're going to try. Remember, we spoke about quick wins in the first tool. So this time we're going to still use the quick wins. We are aiming for 2 liters, but if we can't make it to 2 liters, that's still fine. We're going to see what we can do with what we have. So you're going to put things in place to ensure that you are able to achieve the promises that you make for yourself. I want you to pause right now and think about, what can you promise yourself that you can with 90% certainty achieve? What can you promise yourself? And this exercise is not to beat yourself up if you are not able to. As I've said with the water, you promise yourself 2 liters, we aim for 2 liters. If we don't get to 2 liters, it's still okay. With time, we will get there. But the right thing now to do for you is to promise yourself that, and then put action steps in place to get to that. Come up with at least 2 things that you can promise yourself that you have a very high belief that you can achieve. Then do that. Then document your follow through. If you have not started journaling at this point, now is your time to start journaling. So now you're going to just capture that. Instead of 2 liters, so I managed to drink 2 cups, so that you can see where we are going and where you started. Trust me, you want to have that before. You don't want to get to a place where you now have your 2 liters, but now you forgot where, how it started or how it felt. So trust me, you want to have that information. Once you've done that, now you've drank your water, or at least try to drink your water. Do yourself a favor, or me in this case, because right now you don't trust yourself, right? So you're gonna trust me. So you're going to want to celebrate. How can you celebrate achieving this tiny thing that you promised to do and you then did it? I know that it is hard sometimes to celebrate ourselves. That's what I'm saying. It's fine. Use me. Remember that I'm celebrating with you. Yay! What did you achieve? So what can you then celebrate today as you finish your promise that you kept for yourself? The next tool that I want to share with you is the intuition intelligence. With this tool, we aim to build and develop the intuition intelligence. We want to get in touch with our intuition. We want to trust ourselves better and better, and trust that our higher self is there to guide us. So what you do here is have a bit of a morning scan, or spend about 5 minutes where you just sit with yourself and allow yourself to just be in your thought. Just sit with yourself and trust in the things that are coming up. And then grab a pen and paper, or your journaling app, or your journal, and just write what comes from there. Then from your journaling, you come up with something that you want to act upon. Take a chance on that, trust that it will be good for you, and then follow that prompt within yourself, and then document that. The idea here is not perfection, it's progress over perfection. So you're going to act on those internal messages. I know first time you're actually trying this, you may struggle a little bit trusting what comes up for you. That's fine. The idea here is to get familiar with that. If you can do those first 2 steps, then eventually you will get to this point where you are able to take that. So do not fret if you feel like you're not getting your intuition right in this moment. The last thing that we want to do is integrating all these things that I've spoken about earlier. We want to have some sort of a weekly review system. I will always suggest journaling for this, something you do over the week, and then you just check to see how you have done. Review your week, your life, right? Get excited about it. Get obsessed with wanting to know who you are. So now you can do your weekly reviews and then plan on celebrating every milestone that you have reached with this system. And while you are doing this review, you look at anything that needs correction. Let's go back to the example of water. If you were unable to reach your 2 liter after 5 days, if you are capturing your progress, you will be able to see where you are struggling with your water. What can you do to actually help yourself get to that goal of drinking that 2 liters of water? And then you carry on, you keep on repeating, and you keep on recording your progress, because eventually you're going to look back and think, oh, I did that. Yeah, I did that for myself. And you will start to see how you are actually trusting yourself more and more. And once you've done this, you need to remember that building self-trust is a process. As I've said, progress over perfection. Start with one small step today and follow through. If you've gotten this far and you are ready to take this to the next step, I have created for you a free 7-day tracker decision alignment worksheet. So just click the link to access that just for you. Next time, we will build upon this self-trust rebuilding process and how to use your newly found trust in yourself to make big life decisions. So hit subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified when I drop that one. Remember that trusting yourself is something that you can build over time, one small step at a time. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.